right, gang, we are going to work on worksheet 1.2 on segments and congruence. Remember, we're going to go through all of the starred questions. If you get stuck on anything, feel free to fast forward, rewind, get to the problems that you need to do. In this worksheet, we're going to talk about segment addition. Remember, that's where you're going to do part plus part equal to the whole segment. So when you have some diagrams here, like question number 2, you always read the question. They want you to find RT, and I look at my picture, and that goes from here all the way to the end. And that's simply a matter of taking the two numbers, the two parts that we have right here, 17 and 8.5, and add them together. A little bit of math, and we get RT to be 25.5. You try questions 3 and 4 on your own, and notice that you're finding BC for question 3. You don't know how much that is, but if you add the 25 and the x together, you're going to get the 54. On question 4, you're going to find MN, and if you add the MN and the 26 together, you're going to get the 32. Let's move on to the next question, number 5. In this question, they ask us to plot the given points on the coordinate plane and determine whether the line segments named are congruent. If they are, explain why, and if they are not, explain why. So I look at question number 5 here, the one with the star. I start with letter A. It's at 2, 2, so I go to the right 2 and up 2, put a dot, and I'm going to label that with an A. Then I go to B, which is over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 2, and I put a letter B right there. Segment AB measures between those 2 points, and that has a space of 2. Then I start with point C. Point C is at -1, -1, right down here. And then I go to point D, which is at -1, up 1. And I connect those two. That is the length of CD. And I just count simply right here. That is 2 spaces. The question is, are these 2 segments congruent? Our answer is yes. Why are they congruent? Because 2 is equal to 2. They're both the exact same length. AB is equal to CD. Next 2 questions, you're going to do the same thing. Be a little bit careful on question number 7 with your lettering. On question number 8, we're going to be using this number line, actually 8 through 13. We're going to use this number line here. It says that we need to find the indicated distance. So we read the 2 letters, A to B. We find A, we find B, and we count the spaces between them. 1, 2, 3 spaces. One thing that you want to make sure of is that you don't count the numbers, because there are 4 numbers, but we are counting the spaces. Now jumping ahead to page 2, we're going to work on these diagrams here. Reading the directions, it says using segment addition, we are going to set up, we do not have to solve, only set up an equation that can be used to find the missing value of x. When looking at the diagram, we will circle the values that represent the parts of the segments and underline the value that represents the total length. So looking here at question 19, we have these 3 points on here dividing up our segment. We will circle the 2 parts, and we will underline the whole thing. You will add the 2 circles and equal it to the whole thing. So all we need to do is add the 2 parts and equal it to 18. That is your basic example of segment addition. Now when you get to question 23, we're going to use segment addition, and now we're going to set up and solve. So we're going to finish the problem all the way to the end. Again, we have in question 23, these 3 points, x, y, z, they divided up into 2 sections, the 2x plus 3 and the 3x minus 1, and that equals the whole segment 27. So we're going to write 2x plus 3 plus 3x minus 1 and equal that to 27. From there, you're going to use your solving skills from solving equations. The first thing I would do is add like terms on the left. You have the 2x and the 3x, that makes 5x. And then you have the 3 minus 1, and that's going to make 2, still equal to 27. And then from there, you're going to do the same thing to both sides. You have the plus 2, so you will minus 2 to both sides. 5x equals 25, and then the 5 is being multiplied times the x. So you will divide by 5 on both sides, and you get x equals 5. Then it does leave a blank here. It asks you to find y, z. So if I go back and look at my diagram, from y to z, that's this part right here. So I'm going to take this 3x minus 1. I'm going to put the 5 in that spot right there for x. So I have 3 times 5 minus 1. 3 times 5 is 15 minus 1. Part on the left is 14. We can do some subtracting real fast, and this part turns out to be 13. Jumping ahead to the last page, we're going to be using cubics to solve the following problem. Remember, that's where you're going to circle, underline, box, and then draw your picture. You're going to imagine your picture, you're going to explain, and we're going to do the setup. All right, here we go. It says, first, point J is between H and K. On HK, draw a diagram of the segment HK. Use the given information to write an equation in terms of x. Then solve the equation. Find HJ and JK. First thing we're going to do is we're going to circle the numbers. Don't happen to be any numbers in the problem. We're going to go down here to question 25, and here are the numbers right here that will work with this problem. So there's our circle. We will underline the question. It says, write an equation in terms of x, solve the equation, find HJ and JK. Oops, sorry, it says draw a diagram right on top. Then we will box the important geometry words. In this sentence, we know that J is between H and K. That will help us draw the picture. I think that's the main one. And then we will draw the diagram. Here's our eye for our image. It says that we have a segment, and J is between H and K. So that's the diagram. In fact, that diagram works for all of the questions, so we've done that part. Looking at our values down here, we have these three numbers. We have 2x, which is HJ. We have JK, which is 3x, and then we have the whole thing, 25. So for before, we underlined the whole part. We circled the whole thing, the whole segment. We circled the two parts. So we have 2x plus 3x equal to the whole thing, 25. This is my part. This is my part, and this is my whole. And from there, we will solve that. 2x and 3x is 5x equals 25. Divide by 5. Turns out that x equals 5. And then they ask us to find the two parts. So we're going to go up here, and 2 times 5 is equal to 10. And right here, 3 times 5 is equal to 10. HJ equals 10. Sorry, that's not 10, that was 15. And JK is equal to 15. Add those guys up, and notice there's our answer, 25. Good luck on the rest of these. Remember that you can continue to use the diagram that we have up above. We'll now take out the 2x and the 3x, and you can use your numbers in the problems. Since I have 27 on the screen here, notice that HJ is the left part. JK is actually way over here. And the whole thing, KH, is 3/8. So there's your two parts in the circles and your whole segment in the underline. Good luck on the rest of the worksheet. We'll talk tomorrow in class.